Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Giovanni Gonzalez, and we are live at the Daily Huddle. I am excited to be with you this morning. Today is Friday, June 19, 2020, and this is episode
number 65.
Episode number 65. You know, this little idea of the Daily Huddle, it started as, we need to start the day the right way, and nothing like huddling in the morning and having some really good conversation. So why don't we make this public? And now it's 65, and today we have an unbelievable human being to share an unbelievable story. I can't wait to get into it. I always have the distinctive pleasure to introduce America's executive coach expert, Mr. Sorel Catan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Giovanni. I've had my coffee. I had a little workout, and I'm ready to belt out that who you are, my friend, is the #1 transformational leadership coach, my co-host of the Daily Huddle. And today I've got the esteemed honor and pleasure of introducing a friend of mine and a servant of my country, Haiti, who I'm introducing. In August 2019, Mr. Francois and Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of the Republic of Haiti to the State of Qatar. His combined experience as a diplomat and economist, along with his passion for Haiti, makes him perfect for this opportunity to serve. Among his significant contributions, I count, and the world can count, the following. He shaped U.S. policy toward Haiti in matters of governance and economic development in collaboration with the United Nations and the U.S.A.I.D, as well as various members of the U.S. Congress. He served as an economic development consultant to the Council of Florida Governors Bush, Haiti Advisory Group in 2005, and in 2009, was appointed by Governor Charlie Crist to be one of the state's Census 2010 Complete Count Committee member. And the list of accomplishments and service positions goes on. He was also the Consul General of the Republic of Haiti in Miami. Major accomplishments there include the rebranding strategy that encouraged the Haitian diaspora and foreigners to invest in and visit Haiti. And he served as the Minister of Haitians Living Abroad of the Republic of Haiti. And during his tenure, he restructured the ministry to be a better catalyst to its diaspora's civic and economic engagement processes. Mr. Guillaume's private and public sector experience as an international political economist prompted him to continue serving the needs of private and public organization through his firm's advisory and consulting services. The firm is called GILAC. Furthermore, through his tenure as board member and treasurer of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce of Florida, as well as chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce in Haiti, the Diasporas Committee, Mr. Guillaume also strives to continue supporting the economic and business development of Haitian business communities and people at large. He's currently joining us from Doha, Qatar, where it is exactly 4:07 p.m. So it's no small feat to be here with us, and I want you to know we appreciate that, we honor that, and we welcome you to the Daily Huddle. Mr. Chief of Mission and Chargé d'Affaires to the Embassy of Haiti in Qatar, welcome. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sorel. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you for this warm introduction. And I want to commend you. I want to commend you and your co-host and the whole Daily Huddle team for such an important initiative. I wasn't aware that you've already been up to your 65, is it 65 episode?
65.
65 episode. That is quite impressive. And it is important actually to start the day on a good beat and giving a little bit of information and a little bit of information that may serve professionals, but more important than that, being able to consult with one another, especially in those times of confinement, I think is quite important. So I thank you once again for inviting me to this forum. It is my utmost pleasure to be with you, esteemed co-host and guest. And I will start now, or is there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll lay out the question that you posed, and you'll speak for the next 12 to 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions. So, to the world, the question being posed by Chargé d'Affaires Guillaume is, have you identified your comfort zone's boundaries?
Yes, thank you. So, have you identified your comfort zone's boundaries? Allow me to delve into that question with you. I am by no means a psychologist, nor am I a professional theorist on management tools, but my approach with you will be based on my personal experience and some knowledge that I've been able to acquire, whether theoretically through my studies or practically through my dealings, whether in public or private practice. So this whole notion of comfort zone, where does it come from? I mean, we've heard so many people talk about get out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself to get out of comfort zone, to achieve to reach your best potential. So where did all this come from? This whole notion of comfort zone. So allow me to go back a little bit in history to tell you that this British management theorist called U.S.A.I.D is one of the first people that came up with the notion of comfort zone. He's a behavioral expert, and he sought to enhance performance management for his clients. And he identified this comfort zone notion that needed to be addressed. Earlier than that, in 1907, Robert Yerkes, an American psychologist, stated that in order to reach your maximum performance, you have to reach a stress level slightly higher than normal. In order to achieve your maximum performance, you have to achieve a stress level higher than normal. He called that the optimal anxiety level. So there's an optimal anxiety level, there's an anxiety level that is too low, and an anxiety level that is too high. So the comfort zone really is a psychological state in which things feel familiar to a person and they are at ease and in control of their environment. We're all familiar with that. Certain recommendations of people, there's a lot of recommendations out there. You can go online and see, how do you confront your comfort zone, how to achieve higher goals by confronting your comfort zone, such as putting yourself in a new environment, don't pick the safe choice, make snap decisions, say yes more often, volunteer, give up control, and so on and so forth. I find these to be good tools to addressing the issue of your comfort zone. However, I believe that in order to really maximize your potential, you have to have more than tools. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a strategy in order to be able to really identify the boundaries and confront your comfort zone. So often than not, actually, these tools address your anxiety level, they address your fear level. But there are many times that you are confronted with certain decisions that do not necessarily, or certain situations that do not necessarily um, provide that fear or anxiety that would allow you to assess that you are in a situation of confronting your comfort zone. So what I'm suggesting really is a more preemptive approach rather than reactionary. What I'm suggesting in order to be able to identify your comfort zone is to consider your life as a series of different decisions that you make every day. Every day you are confronted with decisions, from the type of socks you're going to put on, to the suit, to the way you drive to work, and so on and so forth. So as an economist, one of the classes that had the most impact on me as an economist, one of my undergrad classes, was a class called Game Theory. In game theory, not to be too complicated, it shows you that every situation presents a decision tree. A decision tree with different decision nodes all along the way. And the decision node, whether you go one way or the other, will inevitably determine the outcome of that decision tree. One of the famous game theorists is John Forbes Nash Jr., and he came up with the Nash equilibrium. The Nash equilibrium is a mathematical model that allows you to put into perspective certain social situations and put a mathematical model to it. I don't know if you ever saw A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. He portrayed that individual, Mr. Nash. It's beautiful. It's a quite beautiful movie. So in game theory is really about mapping out a certain situation through decision nodes. So you have several decision nodes to tackle on a daily basis. Identifying your boundaries of your comfort zone, to me, has to be about being mindful of those specific decision nodes that may have an impact on your life. Because often than not, certain situations or decision nodes will not present themselves to you. So often than not, reaching a decision nodes will warrant you to be a little bit more proactive, because opportunity may be passing in front of you, minding into your own business, not even thinking about you, but it's your role to identify that opportunity, bring it in, hone it, and assess whether it is a decision node to consider. So you have to think about going through life like this guy in a matrix, right? The guy in a matrix, he had this supernatural specter of vision. Every time he's confronted with a situation, then he has all of this information on his peripheral vision that allows him to assess the threat level or the option. So this is you on a daily basis, dealing with life, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, or whether it's you. And for me, it's different for everybody, but for me, I am mapping out 3 decision trees in my life: my family decision tree, my professional decision tree, and my me decision tree. It's important for me to be able to distinguish those 3 different decision trees that bring different decision nodes, and those trees intertwine with one another very often. Therefore, what's the strategy in order to be able to hone that game theory and challenging your comfort zone? The first thing is what I said before, is to be able to be mindful that opportunity doesn't always come to you, or decision nodes that you must make doesn't necessarily present itself. You have to identify, you have to be open-minded, and you have to allow yourself to hone in the opportunity and bring it in. Second, once you bring in a situation to assess, and it brings a level of anxiety within you, we have to be able to process the anxiety not as just an emotion, but it's an emotional tool that allows you to assess the outcomes, whether desirable or not desirable. So you're in front of a situation, for instance, when I was presented with the position of Qatar, being ambassador in Qatar, or Chargé d'affaires in Qatar, I had no idea that Qatar was the country. But when presented by it, it created a level of anxiety. Qatar is far. Am I going to move with my family? Am I going to be separated with my family? So it created a lot of emotions that you could either shut down the emotions and refuse. I could have said, you know what, Qatar is too far, let me wait for the next opportunity. Or you could assess the emotion that you are feeling is really a tool for you to assess the outcomes, whether desirable or not, and prepare you for the challenge. Thirdly, does the benefit of the desired outcome outweigh the cost of the anxiety of all of your decision trees? Again, coming back to that example of me moving to Qatar to me, in my professional decision tree, would be a good outcome. But how would it involve, or how would it impact my family decision tree and my me decision tree? My family would be uprooted. My wife and children will be uprooted to a totally different environment. What type of stress and anxiety would that present, and how would I go about managing it? In terms of me, I would be leaving my mother that's in Haiti. I would be leaving my friends. I would be in a completely different environment. So making the assessment of all of these challenges and anxieties and coming out with a desired outcome that I believe would be beneficial to everybody is part of the process of identifying my boundaries of comfort zone. So when I accepted the challenge, it's me saying that I assessed the risk, and the desired outcome to me is much better than the anxiety risk posed with my family and my personal challenges. So because you go through that process of assessing different anxieties and different situations, you are pretty much mapping out your boundary. So what do I mean by identifying your boundaries? It's really identifying, the decision nodes in your life that will have an impact in your life. But it's also important to be mindful, because we live in a society that always challenges you to push your comfort zone, to go beyond your comfort zone, keep going on beyond your comfort zone. But the boundary that I'm talking about also is there to protect you from not going too far out. You understand what I'm saying? So, because if you go too far out, then you are compromising certain morals or certain objectives that are important to whether either you, your family, or your professional. Especially right now in this pandemic situation, I think we've all had the experience of realizing certain things that are more important in our life that we thought were important. So that boundary is there to protect you also. I'll take another example. When I was appointed minister, I moved to Haiti after living over 25 years in the US. I had to move to Haiti for the post. But after my tenure as a minister, I had the option of moving back to the States or staying in Haiti. And staying in Haiti or pursuing other political aspiration or whatnot. I chose to stay in Haiti and put on hold my professional ambitions, meaning I would not be moving further. I would not be challenging my professional comfort zone in order to secure something personal, which is my family, which is making sure that I had enough time to spend with my parents, because I actually lost my father 2 years ago. So staying in Haiti and not going outside the boundary, my comfort zone boundary, allowed me to stay in and take care of family issues. In 4 years, from 2005 to 2014, I went through a divorce. I went through meeting somebody else and getting remarried. I went through having 2 children, and I went through losing my father. So being able to identify certain boundaries that would not take me outside of my comfort zone too much allowed me to stay and deal with these issues, with my family issues and building a family. So it's important to be mindful of that boundary, both to challenge yourself, but to protect yourself. And the way I'm suggesting to do that is to consider your life as a big old tree of game theory with different decision nodes. And as you attack those decision nodes, or as you address the decision nodes, go through the mind process of using that anxiety as a tool to assess the risk, using your anxiety as an emotional tool to prepare you for the challenge and to prepare you to assess the outcomes, whether desirable or not, and how you're going to deal with it. And finally, saying or making sure that the desired outcome outweighs the risks or the anxiety risk of all of the other decision trees. I hope I haven't lost anybody in my game theory, but I am quite passionate about economics and as an economist, and I
Francois, thank you so much. It's amazing to see how you've taken science, you know, like living life down to a science, and yet without losing the art and the love and the passion that drives you. I'm so honored to have you on, and for me specifically, and I'm sure for you as well, it's always important to be a beacon of light that shines as a representative of Haiti. And I want to thank you for the way you serve, and also thank you for representing Haiti the way you do. You do it with grace, you do it with honor, and you do it without losing touch with what's important to you. And I really admire that.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you
appreciate
for being here. And now you know, the studio audience wants a piece of you, and so do the people on Facebook. So questions, comments, who's got one?
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much for being here. And I was agreeing. There's somebody on Facebook that you probably know, maybe not. Agatha. She was saying you've got to be a nerd when somebody when it's Friday morning and someone's talking about game theory and you're loving it, you know. And so actually, she said another one, but I was really fascinated with the opportunity of game theory. And you know, for many years, I have been in this question, in this inquiry of, like Sorel was pointing to it, the art of having and enjoying a great quality of life and making a difference. And then there's the science behind it. And I have walked away from game theory for a while. So I wanted to, you know, just kind of, I thank you for creating that. And the other thing I wanted to say, is more of a comment, is that I rarely see someone, I have the chance to see someone so accomplished bringing so much heart to the, or maybe a connection from game theory to their personal life, right? Like the 3 decisions that you were saying, like how do I bring a strategy to the things that matter the most to me? And so there is for me, what it left for me was this sense of peace around the difficult decisions. You know, if I'm going to use game theory in the things that matter the most to me, then I don't have to put my emotions so much in place. I can just look and see, well, what are the best possible outcomes on the things that matter the most in my life. So I got that. So I wanted to just kind of say something about what I got from today's conversation. And I think it's very, very timely for me right now. So I want to open it up for everybody else. I see that Andrea has a question. Go ahead, Andrea.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Francois. It was really, really interesting discussion, and being super honest, this is the first time that I've heard about game theory in English. I'm originally from Colombia, so this decision tree idea is more in Spanish in my brain. So bear with me for a second in my question. When you were talking about game theory, it triggered my thoughts about using game theory in the decision tree making process for financing. So we as small business owners, at least some of us here, what will be your recommendation as to how we can use game theory in decision tree making process into our finance and how we work with finance? It's like Giovanni was just saying, removing the drama from stuff. Finance is math, is numbers. So is there any correlation with that? That's what triggered my mind.
There's a very high correlation between game theory and finance. Game theory is applicable to many studies in life. As I explained to you, I'm an economist, and I learned it through my undergrad economist. So at the forefront, game theory is really the cost-benefit analysis. Really, you know, you are taking a decision node. You are wondering, you know what? We are going through rough times right now. Finances are low. You are faced with the decision: should I start laying off people? Should I start putting people on partial leave, or should I stop some of my activities? So you have all of these decision nodes to take into consideration. And what game theory forces you to do is, you know, take out all of the emotion out. Okay, if you lay out 2 people, what's the outcome? If you stop your activities that bring in 30% of your income, what would be the outcome? Are you going to lose market share? One of the outcome would be, I'll be losing some of my market share because competitors will bring in. So the game theory is very much applicable to finance because it forces you to take out all emotion into your decision-making process, and it forces you to go one step further in your decision tree until you get to a point where you either have a desired outcome and you can move forward, or you have an outcome that is not acceptable to you. Therefore, you need to revisit your decision nodes. So it is very much applicable to finance. And again, as Giovanni stated, it's really it's a mathematical model that deals with social situations. It's really what it is. It's a mathematical model that deals with social situations, whether it is in business, whether it is they use it a lot for negotiation. Expert negotiators use game theory to try to anticipate their opponent in order to arrive at a solution that is acceptable to both, because negotiating is really about coming to an acceptable solution to both. You can use it in your marriage. My wife, dealing, and one of the things that Giovanni stated is that it takes, and it's so true, it takes a level of anxiety out of the process. It takes a level of fear out of the process. When my wife, and I hope I'm not going to be characterizing something that is between in couples, but often or not, when my wife, and I know I'm not speaking by myself, when my wife tells me, honey, we need to talk, those 4 words, we need to talk. All men, when they hear that, they feel a level of anxiety because you don't know what's coming. But being able to decipher, my wife needs to talk, it cannot be something that is life defining, or that, because you know what you've done, you know what you haven't. So what I'm trying to say is that the exercise of going through game theory, as you get better and better at it, allows you to enter anxious, or what used to be anxious situations, with a lot calmer and a lot cerebral process. I hope I answered your question.
Yes,
Andrea.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Francois, I would be remiss if I did not ask you this question. Given where Haiti is right now, how are you in your post applying game theory decision nodes to stay present to the key decisions that you have to make, and that perhaps you're in a position to advise the administration in Haiti to make? Anything from there?
That's a very good question, Sorrel. My mission, as I had the honor of establishing the first embassy here. So it's always an honor for a diplomat to establish an embassy. But and a lot of people say, why do you have an embassy there? Do you have Haitians that live there? No, we don't have a lot of Haitians that live in Qatar or the region. But we really want to diversify. When I say we, the governor of Haiti, the state of Haiti, the president of Haiti, we want to diversify our pool of resources in terms of the international partnerships that we have, right? We've traditionally have prioritized our relationship with the superpowers, like the United States, Europe, and all that, which is good. We need to do that. But there are other areas, like the Gulf area, Qatar, that is becoming that is making more and more of an impact in the world by the sheer nature of their wealth and their will to be impactful will. So my goal is to establish relationships between the two countries through initiatives that would be beneficial to both countries. So I have to pick initiatives, sectors, businesses, partners, social initiatives that would be beneficial to Haiti, and that Qatar would also see as something that would serve some of its objectives. So my decision node process really, because there's a myriad of things that I could want to get into, whether it's what type of businesses, what type of sectors, what type of social initiative, because Qatar is really involved with anything, but you have to pick, you have to choose. My mandate is I'm not going to be here forever. So with the little time that I have here, I have to be able to make an impact. I have to choose. So I have a series of different options or different initiatives that I need to assess. And my decision node process points me to the direction that would be that would have the most impact and that would be beneficial to both countries. So I use that a lot.
Great, great. Well, we'll take one last question from a listener on Facebook. Listeners listening from Haiti, Francois, and the question is, would you encourage a young Haitian to get out of his comfort zone to enter politics in Haiti right now?
Yes. I will say a resounding yes. Because you know what, Sorrel? You and I are old enough to remember the times where parents who used to say, you know, don't get into politics, it's dirty, don't get into politics, there's too many uncertainties, don't get into politics, don't get into politics. Okay, so when nobody gets into politics and politics has to be done, the people that are least qualified or that have the lesser interest in mind will get into politics. So if you're a young man and you have a drive to get into politics and you have a vision and you have a set of morals that you think will benefit the country and yourself, yes, I would encourage you to get into politics. But there's a caveat. Get into politics, but you don't make politics your your main source of income. You have to learn a trade, whether you are a lawyer and whether you are a doctor, or whether you are a mechanic, whatever it is. In Haiti, more than other countries, you cannot be reliant upon politics as your main source of income, because then you become a slave to politics, and you will come to situations where not only you'll be going beside your comfort zone, but you'll be going outside your moral values also, and you don't want that. So yes.
And last but not least, what are the tangible benefits of the diplomatic relationship between Haiti and Qatar for Haiti?
So, you know, without wanting to criticize aid to Haiti in the past 30 or 40 years, we have to be in agreement that we wish that aid, all of this aid would have had a little bit more impact to Haiti, because a lot of aid has gone through Haiti. Of course, we have to deal with the issue of corruption and we have to deal with the issues of instability. But what we are seeking here in Qatar is a partner that will not look at Haiti as somewhere to dump aid and satisfy certain key performance indicators of their aid programs, but we're looking for a partner that would come and invest. Okay, Qatar is a small country like Haiti, but it is a very rich country. They could go invest anywhere, but we want to offer the opportunities for Qatar to invest in Haiti, but also to diversify their own economy that they want. And also secure certain resources that they do not have. We have a high propensity or potential for agricultural products in Haiti. There is very little agricultural product here in Qatar because it is a desert. Although they have the money to transform desert into pastures, but it's very costly. So as we prioritize South-South cooperation, countries in the South and countries in the South, we find links where, for instance, Haiti could be, they can invest in Haiti in agriculture. Haiti would be self-reliant on its own agricultural products and also produce agricultural products for Qatar. So those are the types of relationships that we're looking for. And also, Qatar is a country that has high ideals. It really wants to show the world that they're a small country, but they can have a great impact on the world. And they do a lot of social initiatives throughout the world. And they want to show that where they involve somewhere, then the results can be impactful. So that's another opportunity for Qatar to show that their involvement in Haiti would be impactful to the livelihoods of every single Haitian.
Well, Francois, thank you so much for leading this conversation. We've come to the time where we must end the conversation.
Already?
Yeah, and I want to pass it on to Giovanni to close the morning and give you your last words. Giovanni?
Very good. Thank you, Francois. Thank you so much for being here, for enlightening the opportunity for us to get into politics. And I really love what you said, and I want to kind of like underline it, and I'm going to say it wrong. You said, when nobody gets into politics, then the least qualified enter into politics. That was so great. Thank you for creating it that way for me. You definitely spoke to my world around politics. Yeah. So and thank you for enlightening us about what you do for Haiti and the world that you bring for us. Yeah, it has come the time. We're certainly outside of our comfort zone. Usually we end at 9:30. So you're inspiring us to be outside of our comfort zone. One last thing I want to say before I give you your word to those of you who are listening on Facebook and those of you who are here at the Daily Huddle. Don't forget that we have our Daily Huddles Town Hall on June 27 at 3 p.m. for our conversation on Black, Brown, and White speaking on diversity, ending injustice and inequality in America. I'm going to leave the link in the chat so that you guys can register. Mr. Francois, what will be your last word?
Well, my last word really is trying to summarize what we've been spoken about, and I would say to be mindful of the decision node opportunities in your life. Be mindful that your life is a whole, it's a big game theory decision node tree, and use that knowledge, use that exercise to understand and identify the boundaries of your comfort zone, both to exceed your potential, but also to protect yourself from not going too far out of your comfort zone and putting a lot of your interest in jeopardy.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Have a phenomenal rest of the day. Have a phenomenal weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
Bye, guys. Thank
Have
you.
a great day,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Let's be in touch.
All right. Nice meeting you, Francois.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you very much. See you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.